Welcome to this very special edition of The Author's Voice with KJ, a show where we explore the stories behind the stories. Here we dive into the worlds created by authors, discover their inspirations, and ensure that you walk away enriched and inspired. And today we have with us author Nina Perez, transformational coach, chef, motivational speaker, and author of the autobiography Hit Me With Your Best Shot, How I Came a Hard Hitting Life. We'll talk about all that. Let's dive into the story behind the story. Welcome to the show, Nina.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure.
You are welcome. Welcome once again to the KJ Masterclass. This time on the author's voice with KJ Nina, and we'll be talking about the book. But first, to understand your journey, as you say, overcoming teen pregnancy, domestic violence, and poverty, and then this is where you wrote this particular book to share your stories into it. I want to understand a bit. This is my own understanding of things, but your understanding of things matters. What is it that led to become an author? Was it a thought that came into your mind, or is it just like accidentally it just happened that you became an author?
It was a thought that was in my mind. I was in the point of my life where I've healed a lot from a lot of pain. And I wrote the book because I was, well, tired of being silent. I was tired of not talking about what a lot of people go through, a lot of adversity and pain. And so it was something I've thought about for a long time, but I finally got the courage to do it.
Right. So how does one get courage in such situations, Nina? When did you get the courage? And having courage is a different thing altogether, but writing is a very serious thing. You
Mhm.
got to create and forget about everything else, forget about your pain, and get down to writing. It's not just about words, it is about words that others will also read and also understand, and also perhaps gain inspiration from.
It was just doing it one day at a time. So what I did is I did a whole like mind map and I just timelined everything. Okay, what happened to me from birth to a year old? What happened from 2 to 3, 3 to 4? And I just did one day at a time, one moment at a time because it was such a personal story because my autobiography, I cried a lot. So it was a lot of pausing and thinking about what I wanted to write and how I wanted to write it. But it you do it one day at a time, right? You don't just say, "Oh, I'm gonna go write a book and have courage." I think it just as you start writing, you start to unlock more of your wisdom and more of the things and stories that are inside of you. So just do one moment at a time and at least have some sort of outline, some sort of plan so that you can keep on track. But you're right. I did have to tell my husband, listen, you're not going to see me after work for at least a few months. He was supportive, but he was like, I miss you. I'm like, I'm sorry, I got to write. And it took like a good maybe 8 to 10 months of just writing without any interruptions. But it was powerful, it was cathartic, it was amazing. I didn't think I could do it. But I think if anyone wants to write, just take one day at a time. Don't try to look at the whole book in one shot.
Absolutely, one day at a time. Now let's look at your book. This is here where your book is on the screen. We have got two Ninas on the screen. One Nina will talk about the other Nina that is in the book. Tell us about bit about about this particular title itself. Hit me with your best shot. How I overcome a hard hitting life. Who did
Yeah.
who what how did this idea come to your mind with your face and everything there on the book?
Oh, that's a funny story. Was writing this, I wrote the book, I had finished it, but I had no title. And so I remember driving, and I'm a person of faith, so I was praying, and I'm praying in the car, and I'm praying, and I'm like, I don't know what to call this song, this book. I don't know what to call it. And as I'm driving, all of a sudden in my mind, I hear "Hit Me With Your Best Shot," which is a song. And I'm like singing the song to myself. There's no radio on. I'm just singing the song to myself. And I'm like, That's the title. Hit me with your best shot. That's how it got to me. I think God just sent it to me through, through the airwaves. But it also, is like a play on words too, right? Because my story is a lot about abuse and domestic violence and things like that. It is about hit me with, like, literally hit me with your best shot. And I realized that not many things can knock me down, and that's where, how I overcame a hard hitting life became the subtitle. Yeah.
Absolutely. And what's in the book, uh, Nina? It's not easy to write,
Mm,
autobiographies,
mm.
because it can become just a rant about everything. To make it meaningful, it you have to think in that direction, especially when you are the writer and you have to bear everything that you
Yeah.
went through.
Yeah. I think for me, it was really about having a voice finally, because when I was young and I was being abused, it was, the shut up and don't tell anybody type of thing. And I needed to release my pain that I was carrying. But I also knew that other people had pain too, because I was already helping women and leading women. So I knew a lot of us were dealing with a lot of pain and we kept it hidden. And so my story, if it even helped one person, it was worth writing. And it was really hard, but it was also very cathartic. A lot of the crying, it became my therapy, really. Every chapter was like reopening a wound, but also healing that wound. And so I think what made the book so raw is the fact that I didn't sugarcoat anything. It's real, it's raw, it's rooted in my hurts, my trauma, but my faith also. And so it was really something that I think I'm very proud of. I did it as a, self-published. I self-published the whole thing. I did get it edited, but I self-published it all. But I'm very proud of it because it is my voice and nobody got to tell me what I can and cannot write in my own story. It really started to impact a lot of people. I was very surprised when I was getting hugged by random strange women who said that they were using my book in their book club and how it helped their life and how their father did this to them and their brother did this or their mother did that. And they were coming to me basically as therapy, as, confessing what they were going through. So it was worth every moment. Although my family got mad at me for writing this story. My mother didn't speak to me for like a good 8 months. Um, I was the talk of the family, how horrible of a person I was for writing my story, but it wasn't about them anymore. It was about me and finding my voice and helping other find theirs. So it was worth it.
Absolutely. Is there anything particular in the book that you would want to tell the audience about, Nina, which is the focal point of your autobiography?
Yeah, I mean, it's about being bent and not broken, right? These are the moments I thought I wouldn't survive, moments where the pain was so loud and so suffocating that I couldn't even hear my own voice anymore. I was molested, I was beaten, I was dismissed, I was discarded. And it wasn't just hard, I felt like I was erased. And yet somehow I'm still here. And so, for all of you who think that you are discarded and dismissed and you're not important, you are still standing, you are still breathing, you are still rising. And so take all of the things that you thought maybe you weren't supposed to be here. Maybe you think you're here by accident. I want to convince you that that is a lie. It is an absolute lie, right? And for me, being rejected from as a child and being called a failure and nobody really cares about you or wants you, I call this telling the truth, standing in what is true for you. And I feel like I am valuable. And that's why I had to go through all the things I had to go through, because it is up to the world. And I believe there's an enemy of our soul. And I believe that enemy is to make sure that you do not feel like you are worthy, but you are worthy. And so this book is about that. You are bent, but you are not broken. Okay. I have been abused, but I am not abandoned. And yes, I've been silenced, but I'm not defeated. And my silence now became my voice and my strength. So for anybody out there who's feeling like, can I even do this? Am I worth anything? Yes, the answer is yes. Yes, you are. And if you woke up today, you were given another day by grace to live another day. So go for it. That's what this book taught me, and that's what helped a lot of people with. And I'm very proud of it. Thank you so much for asking that question.
Absolutely, absolutely. Nina, you are speaking so eloquently, so nicely, and this is what a lot of people want to understand. People from whom they can learn, not just read, but actually follow the some of the steps that they have taken in their own life to
Yeah.
understand bent but not broken. Those type of inspirations, messages inspire a lot of people, Nina. So I want to understand from you, Nina, is that who is this book for? It's an autobiography, and still to make it meaningful for others. Did you have to twist your writing style, or you could still write your story, but it's also about other story? Who is this book for?
When I first wrote the book, I thought it was just for me, just to heal. So I wrote the book like I speak, like it's just as raw and as real and as authentic as I could be, because I didn't write it to be pretentious. I didn't write it to, oh, this is going to be a bestseller. That's not why I wrote it. I wrote it to tell my truth out loud, right? And so it's for anyone who wants to read a real story about a real person who's overcome real things. And I thought it was just going to be women picking it up, but that's not the truth. Men have picked up the book as well and have told me how impactful it was for them as well, because men at lots of times don't have voices, especially when it comes to being abused. They feel like nobody will believe them or hear them, and they got to be men anyway, so they can't tell anyone. But the truth is men and women both get abused. Men and women both go through very tragic things in their life, and we are all bent and not broken. And so I want to make sure that it's for anyone, but mostly women read the book. And it's about naming the pain so it no longer owns you, choosing forgiveness over bitterness. Right? It's taking your life and rewriting the narrative. People told you weren't worth it. Yes, the heck you are. So rewrite that narrative. I'm not an oops, right? I'm not an oops. I am here on purpose. I'm not an accident. So neither are you. And for a long time, I did feel like I was an accident. I did. And I will tell those who don't have a voice, you have a voice. I give you permission to have a voice. Write your story for you. So I wrote the story authentically the way I speak. And lots of people who read it said, oh my God. They said that they cried, they laughed, they got mad, they got pissed off all at the same time, because they actually heard my voice really, like in real time, especially those who knew me. And so a lot of people have been asking me to now make the book into an audiobook, but that takes a lot of time and I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. But a lot of people are like, because I said, can I hire someone to read the book? And they're like, no, it has to be you, because it sounds like you. It is you. So yeah, I just wrote the book as real as I can write it. I wasn't thinking it was going to be a bestseller. That wasn't the goal.
Absolutely. So, if I want to understand, Nina, what was the most challenging part of writing this
Mm.
particular book?
I think the most challenging part was the hurts, the wounds. Some of the wounds that I thought were healed that weren't healed. You know, I thought that I had already forgiven a lot of people, but I realized maybe I hadn't. So I had to do that process over, especially with the book and writing it, because I was choked up a lot, and always also forgiving myself, right? Because I did a lot of things that I also regret. And so there was a lot of those moments where I almost couldn't breathe while I was writing. I had to stop for a few days because it was so heavy. But it was worth every moment of it. It was very difficult to write, but it was also um, liberating. It was one of those things that now I feel like no one can really come at me and say, well, you did. Yeah, I know I wrote the book. It's out there already. So I am free. I feel free because I actually let my story be truth and have it out there for real. And all the good, the bad, and the ugly. It's just there. And if you like me, you like me. If you don't, you don't. I'm okay with both. So I just want people to understand that If you are authentic and you stand in your authenticity and you show up authentically in the world, then you'll get the right people around you. You'll get the right people to read your book. You'll get the right people to really relate to your story. And so that's how I live my life, and that's how I wrote the book, and I'm hoping to keep writing. I really enjoyed the process.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, what is the key message, key insights that you want readers to take away from the book?
Yeah. I want people to understand that they can turn their pain into purpose, that they can use their story as a weapon to heal and help heal others. Right? I mean, I've launched courses, I've wrote books, I've started my podcast, I created safe spaces, I help women create businesses. All of that happened because I actually was able to sit and be truthful with what my story was and then turn all of that pain into an actual purpose, which is to help others. I believe that all of us have pain. All of us have gone through something that's been super painful for us, but there are people out there who need your voice. They need you. So loving yourself through it, loving yourself through the shame, loving yourself through unforgiveness, loving yourself enough to rise above whatever it is you're writing about. Just show up for you. Show up for you every day, even if it's just a little bit. And you'll be able to help transform the lives of others. Because I believe that you and I are not just here to live a life and then die. I think we are here to live our life and to help someone else. That's what I believe. And so I believe that that's what the book does. And it actually, the takeaway would be, you know what? You can get through all things and your pain can be turned into a purpose.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, this is one book. Any other book in the pipeline? Audio book, you said, is a very time taking thing. So, any other project that you would want to talk about, want to tell the world about?
That's very interesting. I've been thinking about a lot of things. Right now, I'm a chef, as you said in the beginning, and so I've been thinking a lot about writing a book that is about purpose and cooking. Something that really transforms you, not just in your life, but also in the kitchen, and give you recipes for the soul, like that kind of thing. So that's something that I have been thinking about for a long time, and I think it's time to do it because I'm a life coach, transformational life coach, but I'm also a chef, and I do both of those things in my life really well, and I want to combine them. And so I think the next book will probably be a cookbook with purpose.
Wonderful, wonderful. A lot of food for thought in that book as well
Yeah,
as
food for
the
thought.
upcoming book.
Yes. I love the name. Food for thought. I love it.
Absolutely. There is so much to learn about all this from you, Nina. And I'm sure a lot of people would want to connect with you, connect and learn more from you about your book, about maybe, getting your services as a transformational coach, as a chef, and so many things that you do. What's the best way for them to do so, Nina?
They can go onto my website, which is Nina Perez. It's spelled Neena Perez.com. And you'll find everything there. I also have a brand new cooking channel starting on YouTube called The Purpose Filled Kitchen with Nina Perez. So you can find everything there. And my book, of course, is on Amazon. Hit me with your best shot. So just look Nina Perez and you'll find me everywhere.
Wonderful. With this, it's set up on this very special edition of the Author's Voice with KJ. Thank you so much indeed for joining us.
Thank you, Val.